I'm an Oompa Loompa. I'm an Oompa Loompa with abs. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Keeping Up with KP. It is the Monday after show day, Michigan State. I've had the last day and a half off, which was really show evening and travel day home. And I'm very much still processing. I think a lot of people don't realize the buildup and come down that comes with show day. So I'm just kind of going through that in real time, especially because this wasn't like a one and done for me. I am in between shows. So I am very much still sitting with and processing this experience. So I'm going to take you guys through that with me a little bit. I'm going to share what transpired the rest of my show day weekend, how I'm kind of like getting back into a groove, next steps, because we're not done. I am less than 4 weeks out from NPC Universe. If you watched my show day episode, it ended with us being a little confused, a little unsure of what was next. I first want to share where I'm at right now and why I felt so confused by my placing. And that was because 3 years ago, I took overall at Wisconsin State, a regional show. Last year, I took first place in my height class at a regional show, Atlantic States. So at the regional level, I have always done well, but in 2023, when I won that overall at the regional level, I went on to do a national show and I got third call outs. I did not do well. Last year, Atlantic States, I got first in my height class. I did not get the overall. I went on to do a national show, NPC Universe, and I got top 5. I got 4th place. The feedback that I got 1 year ago at my last national show, NPC Universe, was to come in tighter overall in my core, in my legs, and that was likely what was separating me from the top spots, was my conditioning. That was my short-term feedback. Long-term was to build more lat width and glute growth in my posterior chain. For my upper body, they basically said, just don't let your arms get any bigger. So given that feedback and the improvements that we made in the last year, I was feeling really confident going into the show. However, the standards change in bikini, which is why we are constantly keeping up on what's going on at the professional level, what kind of look they're rewarding based on who the judges are choosing. So this physique is brand new to me, is brand new to my coach, and this is the first time that we are peaking it, which is why we did a regional show to practice for NPC Universe. I was confused by my placing because the physique that I have now and the physique that I had 3 years ago, like, there's not even any comparing the two. Like, I have improved so much, it's insane. I think I felt the most confused because I never imagined in my bodybuilding career that I would ever be told that I was too big. Like, in my brain, I am still that 109-pound itty bitty KP from 2023. So when I got the feedback that my muscle density, my muscle maturity was too much, that my physique was too developed, and that I should consider switching divisions, I was like, wait, what? So first and foremost, this is not a bad thing. This is a testament to the work that has been put in, to the guidance that I've been under, to the time under guidance that I have been working with my coach. It's just taken me a minute to wrap my mind around the fact that the physique that I have achieved was too developed or too good for what I was being judged against at that show. Because at the end of the day, this is a sport, and the judge's job is to choose the best out of what is in front of them, right? So our end goal is not to be the reigning regional champion. It's to get me to the next level. So getting that clarity from the judges was extremely helpful. I was just then confused by the suggestion to switch divisions because I was told that my physique was too developed even for a national show, which I don't think is true. So it's Monday morning. I'm obviously cyber stalking NPC News Online, waiting for these stage shots because as an athlete, you guys, when your body is constantly changing day in, day out, year over year, but you're also hyper fixated because you're looking at your physique every day. You're sending check-in photos every day. Like, it's hard for me to visualize what I look like in contrast to these other girls that are standing in front of me, right? So having done regional shows, seeing the level of competition, having done national shows, understanding the level of competition, which is much steeper, and understanding what is required at the professional level, there's just different levels to this. So I'm trying to understand and visualize what level I'm actually at. But in order to figure that out, we have to follow the bikini criteria. And based on the feedback that we got, I came in too hard. We need to soften me up. We need to pull back on upper body. And so by the end of the day on show day, my coach had a plan. And having a coach that has gone through his own trials and tribulations and made it to the Olympia stage, not once, but twice, and is on his way back, this is just part of the sport. And so I'm grateful to have the guidance and the support, especially in regards to how to take feedback. Because had my coach taken the feedback to heart from every single judge that has ever given him feedback, he would have never made it to the Olympia stage. So what happened next was I was to take show evening, travel day home to just be KP, which is easier said than done when you are just wrapping your mind around all of this. But with that, I was given a day and a half off plan to enjoy some food. And as I have mentioned, I am really not food focused. But something I do want to talk about is when you are an athlete, when you are in competition prep for 6 months, my last free meal was Christmas. So I have been 100% on plan for 6 months. And I want to talk about this because 99% of the questions that I get are in regards to nutrition. The mistakes people make coming out of show is misusing food. And it breaks my soul because at these regional shows, like so many of these competitors are stepping on stage for the first time. Like there's so many people in novice, or there's so many people that just do this one time at the regional level, and the first thing that they consume post-show is a treat, is sugar. And so I can only imagine how these individuals feel today, Monday after show, waking up. I can only imagine how they feel mentally. I can only imagine how they feel physically. And I can imagine that vividly because I have been there not once, not twice, but a few times. And so every time I get an opportunity to have this experience, I always try to do it better. And this is the best it's ever been. And I'm just going to briefly share why that is. Every show, every season is another opportunity to get better. It is Monday after show. I am 100% back on plan as of this morning. I had a day and a half to enjoy. Normally you would use this time to celebrate, but I was using it to appreciate and give myself an opportunity to just come into myself as an athlete post-show. And in doing that, I did enjoy some food that I had been craving. Foods that I had been craving were mostly just different protein sources, different carb sources, and different fat sources. I had no sugar cravings, no desire for like a big burger. Like I literally wanted a steak. So Ryan and I, for the experience of enjoying a meal together, decided to go out for dinner. However, it took forever to get our food. My steak was undercooked, so I ended up taking it back to the hotel and cooking it myself. Given the outcome, I was really tempted to just stay locked in, stay on plan, but I didn't want to like pout all night. I just needed to take a day and a half. And not that I needed anything additional to navigate mentally, but it was good to be able to do this part better too. Because what you have to understand is when you are so locked in and your food is so controlled, and then you're giving yourself other variables, like the worst thing I could have done was consume foods that I know are gonna make me feel really, really bad. That being alcohol, sugar, dairy, gluten, anything of the sort. So I did not do that. There were a few recipes I had come up with for a client plan that I was interested in trying, and so I did, which was the viral Japanese cheesecake recipe, which was okay. The main thing that I was craving is a recipe that I'm gonna show you right now. I got some tortillas and I'm going to show you my guilty pleasure. This is like what I was craving. I'm just kind of like leaning into all of like the whole food cravings that I've been having. I don't do like bakery items or fast food or sugar bombs or anything like that. I'm literally just craving healthy foods that are not on my plan and just being intuitive with it for the day. My body is not used to these foods. I'm probably gonna be a little bloated and uncomfortable, but I want to get these cravings satisfied, if you will, and then I'm just back on plan tomorrow. So this is what you're gonna do. I've actually been looking for the sourdough tortillas of these that are gluten-free, but I haven't been able to find them anywhere. So these are the almond flour ones. So you're gonna take a tortilla and you're gonna cut it like this. Okay, I have the rest of my steak that I didn't eat from last night, and I have some chicken that I'm gonna do with this meal right now. Are you guys ready for this? Our steak, some avocado, some chips. These are the Boulder Canyon avocado chips because you need to have a crunch. And I have an obsession with tahini. This is just ground sesame seeds. I also love truffle salt, so I'm just gonna do the tiniest bit for some flavor. And to assemble, we are going to fold over, fold over, and fold over. Okay, so it makes like this little pocket full of sunshine. You guys, you have to try this. It is so good. So I'm just gonna do one of these. The rest of this I have like 120 grams of rice, and I'm just gonna do a little rice bowl with my steak, my chicken, basically everything in the tortilla in the bowl. I'm gonna do a little crunch on top, my truffle salt, and you know what? I'm gonna do one date just for a little sweetness in here, and we're gonna drizzle with our tahini. And this is going to be my dinner, and I'm literally so excited, you guys. Try this, and let me know. You literally have to try this. Sidebar, this rice is cold. That's the way to do it. The last thing that I tried and I really enjoyed was my protein mud cake recipe, which was 60 grams of applesauce, a half scoop of protein powder, and 1 serving of the Gonana's muffin mix. You have to try it. It is so good. So outside of my normal foods, that is where I gave myself a little bit of room to enjoy. And that alone, just adding in some new variables like avocado, foods that I'm not really used to, I felt very full. What I enjoyed the most was that little pocket full of sunshine. That food combo is top tier and you guys have got to try it. But honestly, that entirety of that day and a half, I felt very in control. I still had a little bit of that buildup, like, oh, it's just this one day. Maybe we should go enjoy a meal. Maybe we should just like let loose. Maybe I should just have a cookie. Maybe I should just eat a burger. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I'm really glad that I'm in a place to be able to recognize that. And truly, your partner's relationship with food and how you connect over food is equally just as important, because that for us has certainly evolved to the point where food is not our main source of connection. And I think that's the healthiest place that a relationship can be. Because when you have that bad influence that's like, oh, come on, it's just a little bit, you should just do this, you should just do that, it doesn't allow you to make that decision for yourself. And so that's the point of the journey where we arrived, where yesterday we both kind of looked at each other and we're like, is this something we're actually going to enjoy? Short answer, no. I am continuing to weigh myself daily, and I would be lying if I said I didn't wake up today and I was like, I'm not supposed to do cardio, but maybe I should do a little bit. Maybe I should follow my low day. I think it's pretty much human nature to have those thoughts, but it's really what you do with those thoughts. So I enjoyed some food yesterday in the midst of getting home, getting reacclimated, really just coming back into my space, grounding back in, doing my laundry, setting myself up for the week ahead, getting my meals prepared. I went to bed feeling a little bit full last night. I woke up today feeling a little bit full this morning, but I let my body sort itself out and I got right back on plan with my gut drink, my mushroom coffee, meal number 1. While we were away from show, my suit got delivered. So I tried that on this morning, and just how this suit fits, how it supports me, just like the energy that I felt when I put it on. I just want to fully step into that going into this next show. Oh my God, I love it. Do you? I have goosebumps. Plan adjustments have been made. I am getting my pre-workout meal together right now, and then we are training lower body A. We are heading into train first lift post show. So this is my lower body A day. Training adjustments that have been made are my training split and my training cadence. I now have 2 training days, lower A and lower B. And my training cadence goes lower A, rest. Lower B, rest, rest. Repeat. So we have pulled upper body completely. And with my training days and my rest days, my food is different. My lower A days, I have no cardio. Lower B day, I have 20 minutes. And my rest days, I have 40. So this is a bit interesting because normally when you think improving between shows, or historically for me, it's always been like digging deep, pushing harder, either getting more condition or try to improve, build some more muscle in between. The situation is my conditioning was spot on, but I need to be softer. And my upper body was too much with just doing 1 maintenance training day a week. So because of that, we pulled it out. So basically we're just maintaining conditioning, pulling upper body, and adding more rest. For me, mentally, how I can improve in between shows has less to do with my physique and how I show up on stage. It feels like the work has changed, which is interesting because this is gonna be like an inside job, which is why I've been so protective of my energy and why I was spending time offline going into last show, because much of this is the physique. We have the physique. We have to make some adjustments, and we're doing that. But the rest of it is how it's presented. And so I'm realizing that this is less about the feedback that I got and more about who I'm becoming because of it. And so this is the work. And that's the thing with this work. You do not come out of prep the same as you went in. You are constantly evolving and like peeling back layers of yourself, and every loss and every win just exposes who you really truly are. And this was a huge learning experience for me, and this actually wasn't a loss at all. It's just so backwards. And I guess that's why it's been so confusing. So again, I'm still processing. I'm still wrapping my mind around this. And I think this was a really valuable experience because especially when you start competing at a higher level, placings don't always make sense. And how you handle those placings is important. This was just the experience that I didn't know I needed. And the work I will be doing going into this show is going to look a lot different than what I thought it was going to. Because the KP that's going to be stepping on stage in 3.5 weeks isn't the same KP that stepped on stage 2 days ago. We're going to go get this first lift post-show. I've really been dreading seeing anybody that is going to ask me how it went. What? Did what? I did.
How'd you do?
So, I got third.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. Whew. Wow, you guys, the first session post-show just hits different. I needed that, but I'm just sitting here wondering, am I ever gonna be able to train shoulders again? Should we cover these up? Oh! Now I'm self-conscious, okay? I think this is an important episode to share because nobody does a competitive sport to not win, right? And learning how to handle your wins and losses is a part of becoming a professional. And this loss is actually probably my biggest win. Confusing. And if you're listening in my last episode, like, I need to lose. I have lost plenty of times. I have been third callouts, I have been fourth place, and I have been number one. But this instance was so unique, and I'm just really appreciating this experience. Like, I really genuinely needed this, and I'm really grateful for it. Because had I won that overall, and we just needed to rinse and repeat for Universe, like, it just would have been too easy. And nothing worth having comes easy. The thing with me, you guys, is that I want to do the work. I need to do the work. And so the work for me right now of having more rest days and pulling back on upper body and doing the work of channeling the version of me that's meant to step into this next level of myself, that's the challenge. There is really so much that goes into this pursuit because nailing the physique isn't enough. You also have the posing. You also have your overall look. You also have the energy that you bring onto that stage. And the energy that I brought onto stage, it wasn't it, because I wasn't her. Like, it all makes sense. In general, who I am at my core, I am a very quiet, shy, modest, kept to myself person, okay? But over the years, I have developed this alter ego, and her name is KP. And KP is who I have to channel on a daily basis to step into all of the roles that I have over the years, to overcome all of the adversity that I have in my life, to have the confidence to show up online, to build a brand, to build a business, to build my body, to build myself. KP is my Big Daddy glasses, if you get the reference. When I am scared, when I am afraid, I put on my KP glasses. And so now I get it. I fucking get it. Now I understand the work that is required the next 3.5 weeks to bring the best version of myself to NPC Universe. And it is not the work I thought I was going to be doing. I have put all of my trust in my coach. I will execute. I will do what is required. But my main job is becoming KP. And that's it. It is end of day, Thursday, June 11th. I have had 4 days to sit with and digest this experience. I got stage photos back. Today was my first check-in post-show, and today was my first day back in office post-show. Getting my stage photos back, I was really excited about. And if you're a competitor, you already know what it's like to sit there and refresh NPC News Online over and over and over again. It helps when you have people in the crowd capture the experience, because when you are on that stage and when you are in it, your reality and your experience doesn't always translate the same in photo and video. And so with this being the experience that it was, I was hoping to get that confirmation. The confirmation that I nailed my posing, the confirmation that I nailed my core control, the confirmation that I brought my best. From my stage photos, I saw that I improved my physique. The growth that I made, the improvements that I made over the last year are undeniable. However, stage photos are not always at the most flattering angles, and these photos also highlighted the areas that still need and require a lot of work from me. From my stage photos, I realized some things weren't executed as well as I thought they were. Those being my posing and my core control. We are all our own worst critics. However, photos don't lie. The two things I really focused on since the beginning was my posing and my core control, and obviously my digestion with my gut reset. And so my reality was my digestion was the best it has ever been. But unfortunately, that did not translate as well on stage as I had hoped, and a lot of that was because of my core control. Now, the judges didn't say anything about my core. Their feedback was entirely my muscle density, my muscle maturity, and the size, as well as the fact that I came in too hard. However, me looking at my stage photos, my biggest flaw and my biggest area of weakness was certainly my core. The three things that really contribute to keeping a tight core on stage is me controlling it, but with that is the amount of food volume in my stomach. And so there's things that we can do to help with that. We learned a lot from this peak, and we fed me up a lot day before show. Like, my food was very high. So obviously the more food you have in you, the harder it is to control. The third thing is my posing routine. The intent of the routine is to showcase your physique in a way that also hides your flaws. And so in addition to embodying and becoming KP, I also have to fine-tune my stage presentation. So I will be doing that by putting way more emphasis on my vacuums and my core control, as well as simplifying my posing routine now that we see the transitions that really highlight my flaws. We see this because it was captured in the still shots. And then kind of assessing this and having honest dialogue with my coach. We can be less aggressive on how hard we push food day before. So I have less volume in my stomach, so it is easier to control my core. So I was hopeful that getting my stage photos back would just confirm of having great digestion, of having a tight core, of nailing my posing routine. But instead, getting my stage photos back just reinforced that there is still work to be done. I would be lying if I said it didn't bring up some self-doubt, some embarrassment, just some disappointment. It has served as confirmation that this experience is exactly what I needed. So the work ahead for me is becoming KP and presenting her in the best way possible. And I am determined to do that. So with today being my first check-in day, with today being my first day back in office, taking 4 full days to digest this experience, to come back into myself post-show, it's been a lot. Check-in today with coach went good, great, and wonderful. My coach is fantastic because he fully understands what I'm going through, because he's gone through it too. He is going through it too. He is nothing but honest with me because he truly wants to see me succeed. There's nothing worse than somebody giving you false hope or false belief just because you're paying them. This is a collaboration, and I'm really grateful for our dynamic. All of the feedback and support that I've gotten from my coach post-show, everything from him having a plan for me by end of day, From him giving honest feedback on my stage presentation, my posing, my aura, all of it. It's not harsh, it is honest. That is what makes you better. He doesn't just tell me his thoughts, he asks me mine. So that collaborative dynamic is a really important thing to have from coach to athlete. Feedback from today's check-in, seeing the physique after it's kind of normalized post-show, having time to digest the experience as a whole on both of our ends, seeing how the plan adjustments are working so far, taking everything we learned from this experience and kind of establishing what he's gonna do on his end, what I'm gonna do on mine, to do this again, but to do it better. So we've kind of mapped out our strategy for the next 3 weeks. We're gonna ride this out. I'm gonna do the work that's required on my end, and I'll check in again in 5 days. With today being my first day returning to the office, it brought up a lot similarly to returning to the gym for the first time. It was really important to me, this show, to have an experience where I wasn't relying on outside validation to determine my success. And I'm really glad that I had that experience, because limiting my social media usage going into show, I think I've always leaned on my online community because I don't have a ton of support in my everyday life. Right now, like co-owning 2 businesses, this is like the largest community that I have. But prior to that, like, my family is very small, and so going to these shows and seeing people like with signs in the crowd and like large support systems, like, I don't have that, and I've learned to not need it. I don't do this for other people, I do this for myself. And so typically at these shows, it's normally myself and Ryan. At the regional, local ones, my family tries to come, and that always means a lot, but I would be lying if I said it didn't kind of add an added layer of stress. You are so busy going into show. If you watched my last episode, you probably saw that. A lot is required from me going into it. And so having people there that you feel like you need to entertain and spend time with, it does add stress. So my family didn't come to the show. And truthfully, I preferred it that way because this show was for me to learn. And now that I'm using this pursuit as less of a hobby and I'm taking it more seriously, I'm really glad that I was able to fully focus. With that being said, it still does bring up the support aspect. More so in the sense because half of my support system, the people that should be here watching me succeed, aren't. They're in heaven. But the people that are still here with me, they all support me in their own way. And I've learned to let that be enough. But when it comes to my online community, or the community that I have at this point in time, I really learned a lot. Because in the pursuit to greatness, you have to expect it to be lonely at times. Everybody starts clapping and supporting you when you need it the least. The entirety of my prep, very few people asked me how I was doing, checked in on me. And then once you start getting lean, you start getting more and more attention. And the closer you get to the end, it starts with a slow clap, and all of a sudden, everybody's cheering you on. And when you get the outcome you want, everyone congratulates you. But what I learned this time is that when you don't get the outcome that you want, it gets quiet again, even though everybody watched. This experience for me felt a lot like the times in my life where I've experienced loss, like similar to when my father passed away, my grandmother passed away. People don't really know what to say. And so most people say nothing at all. And I think that's what creates the distance in making it stressful to show up in environments where you have to face these people, right? And so that's been a lot of my week. Because not only am I still trying to process so much, but people are asking how it went, and I have to explain something that I'm still trying to understand myself. And with this, people get animated because they want you to win, they want you to succeed, so they're angry for you. And that's not always the most productive. And so I was sitting with this and trying to determine, is it worse for someone to say the wrong thing? When someone dies and they're like, how are you doing? And you're like, how do you think I'm doing? Or is it worse for them to say nothing at all? And in this experience, I've learned that I need neither. Because the most comforting thing to me was the people who reached out and said, this sucks. I'm sorry you're going through it, but I'm here for you. And the few people that did that are the few people that have lived through this experience themselves. They get it. They understand. But for the people that don't, they want to give you space. They want to let you sort it out yourself. And I think the upsetting part with that is just knowing, had the outcome been different, they would have attached themselves to me differently. And so that's just kind of the added layer to this week and what I'm navigating. I've just learned not to measure my success by the amount of support that I get, because that applause means a lot less when it's coming from people who only clap for you when you win, who only support you loudly when you win. But 4 days to digest and process with myself was enough. Although it was uncomfortable showing face, getting back into the office today, it was what I needed to pull myself out of this self-doubt. It reminded me that bodybuilding is something that I do. It's not the entirety of who I am. It can become all-consuming when you are in the pursuit and you are pursuing something that means so much to you. But today served as such a great reminder that the business, the body, the life that I'm building, like, it is also building me. 3 years ago, Ryan and I bet on ourselves. We opened up Forever Young in Frankfurt to help people look and feel their best because we loved this pursuit so much. And in 3 years, I have lived through the most imperfect conditions. I have made so many sacrifices and grown through so many versions of myself to become who I am today. The work is never going to be done. I'm sure there are so many people that are doubting me, and I can't be one of them. I woke up today to another opportunity to make an impact by simply being myself and sharing the journey. And so this pursuit of becoming an IFBB Bikini Pro is less about the title. It's about fully becoming KP. All that to say, big week over here. I want to thank you for coming along with the journey. If you liked this episode, please make sure to like this episode. If you stuck around to the end, thank you. Watch time is very important. I hope to monetize on this channel. And to do that, I need you to watch until the end. So if you did, again, thank you so much. Please make sure to subscribe. That is the one way you can support me. If you can't support me loudly, support me here. I look forward to doing this work. I look forward to showing you the improved version of myself in about 3 weeks. That is all I've got for you guys today. I will see you in the next one.